I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for showing up to the BIBA Student Association speaker event number 2. We have Judah Fontz and Amelia Laiacona here to present to us today. Judah is CEO and founder of the company Wyzoo, a marketing analytics startup here in Fort Lauderdale. He's going to get more into detail about that in a minute. And we have Amelia, who is now currently a business analyst for Nextera in
Junior Beach.
Which
is Jupiter.
All right, so
layman's terms.
all right, so over to you.
Okay. Next slide, please.
Sure.
So we're going to talk through. I'm going to introduce myself to you. I'm going to do like an icebreaker. You get to tell me about you, and then why data is important. What my company does. What I do. What my roles and responsibilities are. How I use data, so basically what my responsibility is, how it translates into a project, and then the impact of that project on the company. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to be successful in corporate America, which is really important. And then we move on to Judah. So next slide, please. All right, so let's talk about you guys first, and we'll talk about me. So if you want to, we'll start with Jamie. Introduce yourself. What you do in the program, what you want to do when you get out of school.
Okay.
And your favorite color.
Oh, wow. It changes ever so often. So I'm Jamie Grant. I'm currently doing my MBA. I'm almost done in the business analytics concentration. I've been started this program in March 2016, I believe. That's around that same time I met Amelia and hey David. And what I want to get out of this program and out of this organization is basically the ins and outs of analytics, business, technology, that kind of stuff. I kind of want to put myself in a field where I can bridge the gap between, business and technology, because, it's two things that are currently overlapping in the world right now. So kind of want to put myself in a place where I can't not have work. You know what I'm saying? So favorite color? Right now is red. Yeah.
Nice. Clara.
Well, I'm Clara Concerns. I'm an international student. I'm from Luxembourg here. And yeah, my major is computer science. I don't know what else to say. Oh yeah, my favorite color is blue.
Okay, so David. Okay, so what program you're in? What else did you say? What you want to do when you get out of the program? And your favorite color. And your name.
I'm David. I'm currently studying management information systems with a concentration in business intelligence and data analytics. I currently work here at the university as a data specialist, and my ultimate goal is to combine human resources and data analytics into one meaningful career. My favorite color is blue.
You're wearing red. I'm just kidding.
I have some blue.
Hi, I'm David, and I'm an international student from Amelia, and I'm studying finance. I'm doing my graduate degree right now.
What's your favorite color?
Favorite color? Probably purple.
Okay.
My name is Shante Durbin. I'm a current student here. I'm doing my MBA. My concentration is finance. This is my second master's, and I'm applying to medical school next year.
Ooh.
So come know who I am. Yeah. Let's see, I'm a native Floridian, so all of the schools I've gone to, South Florida, Berry, Nova, FIU. My favorite color is pink. Always has been, still is. Maybe that's why I'm going to be at WGYN, so I can have a good practice.
Cool. Do you want to just talk about how you got into data?
Yeah, so I'm Judah Fontz. I'm founder and CEO of Wyzoo. I started in the analytics space at my prior company, which was Veridata. We did digital and analytics work for nonprofits, so all of it was to help them fundraise and raise more fundraising dollars. I left that, started Wyzoo, and now we're taking that to corporate clients, but same focus, except it's customers versus donors. And now we focus on acquiring customers, retaining customers, and reactivating lapsed customers using data and analytics.
Okay, cool. So this is me. I'm Amelia Laiacona. I went to FSU undergrad and studied history, which is kind of random because I'm an analyst now. But and then I was in the military for about 5-ish years in the middle of that, and then I came to NSU to do my MBA with a concentration in business intelligence analytics, and I graduated December 2016. So right now I work at Nextera Energy, which is the parent company of Florida Power and Light. So I worked at FPL, I don't know if that name rings a bell, I'm sure it rings a bell for some of you. And so I worked initially, I was hired on at FPL as a social media analyst. It's called business analyst, but that's really what the role was. So I did analysis of all of our social media, and pretty much the objective of FPL social media is to drive customer satisfaction because you are stuck with them, they are your energy company, and they're only your energy company if you're happy with them. So, in places like Lake Worth, and I think Lakewood is another one, you have other like kind of municipality companies, and if you guys aren't happy, then you're able to choose eventually. So you pretty much petition for that, and the area votes on it. So like if it's Miami-Dade County, if they're unhappy, they can vote and say like we don't want FPL, we want something else, and they're able to do that. So I actually learned analytics in the military doing analysis of targets for bombs. So that's kind of how it got started, and I rolled into business intelligence because I thought business was really cool, and I liked kind of the numbers piece of it. So in the military, it was like, here's a bunch of words, let's integrate it all together and put it into a report. And so we need to report and then we blow something up, and that's kind of fun. But I liked numbers because it's like there is an answer. Something a little bit more black and white, say that either this is wrong or this is right or something's missing. Or, if you're looking at, for example, a vertical or horizontal analysis of a company, if the number is wrong, if there's something there, and that thing may be quantitative or qualitative. And so I thought that was really cool. Next slide, please.
Yes, ma'am.
So why don't you guys tell me why you think data is important? Without reading the slide, just like for your own, why is it important to you or the career that you're going into, or how you use data on a day-to-day basis and why it's important for the university. That's you teaching here. So.
Multitasking?
You don't have to raise your hand, you just talk.
It gives information about what you're looking for.
Okay. Anything else?
Like you said, it's like black and white. I like to call it like a psychic in a sense, because you could just look at the numbers and kind of make a prediction and see if you're right or wrong. And it's like it helps you to retain customers or get customers, like what you're looking for, like what Target does. I think that's really cool. I think that's the first time I bumped into it. Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else?
And it gives you solutions to problems.
Right. Yeah.
And for decision making as well.
Yeah, there's power in numbers, essentially.
Right. So, basically you hit on everything up here. We use data to create efficiencies in companies, to create efficiencies in budgets, to understand kind of who our customers are and how to better target them, from a marketing perspective. We solve problems with it. We gauge if a marketing campaign, and I work in marketing, so I might reference that a few times, if that campaign is successful or not, and that may be a social media campaign or a digital campaign or a direct mail campaign. I think we're all just in 2018 trying to make better choices with our money, so make more informed decisions. And data is kind of, and you're going to hear this kind of more in your career, like over and over again, like it's inherently dumb, like numbers are just numbers and reporting is just numbers, but where you really can bring value to data is like an insight. Did you see a trend somewhere? Did you do an analysis and figure out that like you shouldn't acquire a company one day? Whatever the case may be. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
So Nextera Energy. So we talked a little about how it's FPL basically. So we are the world's largest utility company and also like the leader in clean energy. So we're doing a lot of solar and wind now in other parts of the country outside of Florida. And it's like really fun and exciting time to be a part of this company because we're doing a lot of things outside of Florida and expanding and trying to do the utility industry better, smarter, better, more clean, more efficient. And it's It's like got a great culture. It's a super fun company to work for. We do lots of cool things. It's in Juno Beach. We kind of talked about that. I initially worked for FPL, and now I work right here for FPL Energy Services. So what we do is we do home services for within the FPL service territory. So that may be, we have something called Surge Shield, and it goes between the meter and your house. So if lightning strikes your house, it doesn't destroy all of your appliances and everything. We do, we acquired Jupiter to Quest. I don't know if Jupiter's Quest to air conditioning and plumbing, I don't know if you guys are familiar since you're back here, but they're moving down to Broward County, so you'll probably start to see marketing for that. We're acquiring new companies, we're growing, and we're going to talk a little bit more on the next couple slides about the expansion initiatives, but it's, it's a really fun and exciting time. It's how can we grow to a $500 million company in the next 5 years? So, and we have consolidated revenues of approximately $17.2 billion, and that's obviously a lot of money. And so we are actually like top 40 for net profit in the world. So we have 15,000 employees. Next slide. So what do I do there? I manage projects. I do data strategy. I analyze data. I blend data. I do a lot of different things. And that leads to projects like the social media analysis of Hurricane Irma data, which we're going to talk about a little bit more. Expansion initiatives, we talked about that. We got to choose a marketing automation tool. And that has been so much fun because it's a constant learning experience of, you walk in somewhere and you collect requirements for something, and then you have to tell people who have worked there forever that you're going to do things differently. And, how can we get to that $500 million number? And what tools and technology do we need to do that? And so marketing campaign performance, I touched on that a little bit earlier. That's pretty much, we have a FPL Smart Services, so kind of like an ADT type product. We, threw it out there. We have no idea who likes this kind of a product, or if they're canceling, why that is. So I get to analyze that. That's been really fun. We talked about the Jupiter to Quest acquisition and the budget analysis. They had never analyzed their budget. They've been a company for like 30 years. We acquired them, and all of a sudden we need to cut $800,000 from your marketing budget. Okay, great. Where do we cut from? What's been working in the past? And so it's, a lot of the things that I do on the day-to-day is really impactful for the bottom line of the company, and it's just a really fun job to have, and I just love it. So, next slide. So social media analysis, Hurricane Irma. About 6 weeks after I started at FPL, we rolled into Hurricane Irma, and it was, as you can imagine, super fun to be the utility company for that huge hurricane. And we had, in a probably 10-day period, 122,000 inbound social media messages. So what do we do with that? We can't just, we have to make sure that people are, if they are injured, if they are stuck in their house, that we can get to them. Our website went down, our app went down because the server wasn't big enough to handle all of that traffic, and that was the only way that people could communicate with us. So what we did was we threw together reports, and that went up to our VPs, and that drove, where we were going to move to restore power. And so even though we're thinking like, wow, social media, what does that do? It actually, in this particular situation, was really impactful. And the marketing that we're driving, people are saying, you're saying you have 16,000 trucks, where are they? We're in your area. And then we have, imagery of us in their area, in their neighborhood that they can recognize. So to keep them happy during a time that was pretty stressful for them. Marketing automation tool selection. We talked about collecting requirements, and that was pretty much, in every job that you're gonna have, you get thrown into something, you have no idea how to do it, and that's like my life 24/7. Like, hey, I need this done. Okay, great, let's roll. So, I collected requirements, I met with the team, I met with IT, I threw it together. We started to vet, Salesforce and Adobe and all these big companies, and we eventually put together, a finite set of requirements. How did these two companies stack together, and then we're able to make a choice, and that's $1 million choice. So you want to know that your $300,000 a year is going to the right tool for your company. And often people, when you choose one of these tools, that's what you're stuck with for 5-10 years. So you want to be really careful about that. the expansion initiative. So, we're rolling some products out in like other states eventually. And so, we have to do competitive analysis for that. And so I play more of a business analyst role, from that perspective. And, what are other people doing and how does our pricing compare to them? And just making sure that like we're not throwing a product out to the market like without any kind of research. We talked about kind of marketing campaign performance. We take sales data, we append the data that we have, like demographics. So what age are they? What income are they? Who are they? What do they like? And then how can we better target them from even just like a psychographic or just what they like perspective. And then finally, the budget analysis, and we kind of talked about that. So next slide, please. So top 5 tips of being successful. You really have to get an internship because when you roll out of your program, you need to know what you're doing. And so at Nextera, we have currently 81 internships open. And so we start to hire in the fall for like the following summer. So if you're interested in, I think you all have my card. But it's a great way to get hands-on. Like you're going to be doing exactly whatever that thing is. If your thing is computer science, Clara, or data science, like we can throw you into an IT. I'll refer you and we'll throw you into an IT role and you'll learn there. And we hire pretty much 90% of the people that do internships for us. And it's a great company to work for. So if you're interested in that, basically it creates an easy transition for you. Kind of talked about that. Be willing to go above and beyond. Be the hardest worker in that office every time. Stay late if you have to. I have a son, so I don't stay late, but sometimes we work at home. He works on the weekends, I work on the weekends, just to make sure that everything's done and no one ever comes to you and they're like, oh, sorry, I didn't get to that. You don't want to be that guy. So keep asking questions, and this will be when you get into your career kind of. It doesn't all make sense right away. It's a lot of information, especially data. The data world is, different kinds of data and different kinds of technologies. And I've been doing marketing for 2 years and I'm still constantly learning. I ask them questions all the time about, hey, what do you think about this? And how can we do this better? And, and his, 15 years of experience doing that is like what guides me in those places. And you also want to get to a company, a mentor. So someone that's been there a long time or knows a lot, so I have one of those too. Be a problem solver and a self-motivator. Don't be sitting around waiting for someone to tell you what to do. Either know what to do. If you don't know what to do, ask what to do. So that goes back to kind of the questions. Be a problem solver. No boss in the history of corporate America ever wants you to come into their office and tell you you have a problem and not the solution. It does not matter who you are, and it doesn't matter who they are. So be a problem solver, know the answer to the question, say, hey, I really had this problem, but I researched a bunch and I think maybe this might work. And 50% of the time you'll be like, sure, let's roll with that. And then if you don't know the answer, go out and find it. Back to kind of self-motivation and find solutions. You're not going to always know the technology. You're going to have to look it up, how something works. I use Tableau and I sometimes Google things. That is it. What's up?
So I have a question. Is it okay to ask questions to get to know the problem better? Is that acceptable?
Yeah. People are never going to say that's a stupid question, and it's also okay. I still screw up on a weekly basis with things I've never done before. The supply chain guy at my company is like, I hate you but I always start with, hey, I didn't know how to do this before, but now that you've told me, you apologize and just say but they love the questions. If I would have had time to go to him in the first place and say, please sit me down and tell me exactly what your vendor procurement process is, he would have loved that, and I'm going to do that on Monday. So it's, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something, you still get in trouble because you'll be at a company that does something totally different. And it's okay to fail too. And it's okay to, I have told my boss, I'm sorry, once this week and once last week. And she says, okay, cool, great, how can we do it better next time? And it's okay to not know and just keep asking questions and asking until you're the expert at that thing. Or, someone comes in and they're new to the company and you're like, hey, I had that same problem. I created a deck for that, or, here, let me help you. This is a process I mapped out for that. So take kind of whatever that question is and see like, how does that thing fit into the big picture of this company? And map out the process, because 20 times someone will have that same question. They come in and it's not part of the onboarding that they give you, and, so questions are great. Any other questions?
I have a question about the internships. I'm just a freshman, but I love to get my nose out everywhere where I can.
We have a sophomore in our marketing department over the summer.
Okay.
She's at Stetson, like in her junior year now. She was great. We loved her. She was like the best.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. That's just it. I'm like, is there like any things I need to have, or like?
Yeah, once we reach out to you, because that's like very interesting.
Yeah. So reach out to me and I'll give you like the website and say like what kind of you think fits your resume, and then send me your resume with that, and I'll point you in the right direction. You can say, I want this requisition ID, and I'll say like, I think this makes sense, or maybe this makes more sense for your skill set.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, especially because right now I don't have much skill sets like university was.
And that's okay, you don't have to know. I'm sure that Emily, that was her name, Emily, like didn't know everything about marketing when she came to us when she was 19, So, a lot of times people, they come and they intern 3-4 years in a row, and then as soon as they graduate, we had a guy from Georgetown that's a data scientist that came, did a couple internships, rolled right into a job in our IT department. Any other questions for me?
Well, you answered one because I wanted to know, how did the company accept failure? Like, how did they look at it? Like, as a stepping stone, or like, oh, it's just shunned upon? Like, no, you have to be on it, but you kind of answered that.
And we have core values too at Nextera, and it's like one of them is treat people with respect. So like, it's very rare that you'll do something wrong and someone's gonna like rip on you. It's just not really like accepted. Yeah, it's like you have to be nice to each other. Find like a nice way to say the thing that you're gonna say, but you can't, like, it's not, you're not allowed to just be like, I think you failed and what you did sucks. Like, you just cannot do that. So that's why it's a good company. It's a lot of fun, and we do, a lot of charity work. So we were at Feeding South Florida all today, which is why we're down here. Yeah. And so we went over there and we spent like my entire company went. We did town hall, and our VP talked to us about, what's going on with the company, what our expectations are moving forward. And so we always know how what we do relates to what the company does. So you always know like what your impact is, and you're never like, why do I do the job that I do? You always just know.
And the other thing is, when you do get like new tools, is it like an incremental change, like when you implement it, or is it just like a lot? Like, how do they?
It's totally incremental. Like when we switch over new tools, it's basically like we're running the old tool 6 months while it's like the technology change, and especially in a big company like that, it's like a huge thing. It's just, I had to get like a lot of executive buy-in. I had to get it from the IT director. I had to get it from my director, then I was allowed to talk about it at like strategy meetings in front of the whole company. And so it was like, this is where we're going, we're expanding rapidly, we need this to get there. And if you explain it in that, it's just the right time to like bring all the new ideas. I think we should create a database that looks like this. Great, cool. How do we do that? You're leading it. The next thing you know, you're leading like 10 giant projects, and you have no social life. So, any other questions? All right, well, I guess it's you go then.
Wyzoo, this one?
That's it.
Okay.
If it doesn't work, you might have to reload it.
So Amelia talked about Nextera, which is a huge Fortune 200 company. Wyzoo is a startup. So we just went out and got Series A funding. So we have an investor that gave us Series A funding, is essentially money they're giving us for our first round of launching our business. So we have a private investor that is funding everything we're doing to start up the company. Go to the next page. So what I'm going to show you today is actually a lot of the content that I went through with that investor. I thought it would be interesting for you to see the level of detail that I have to show him and talk through and get him to agree and say, you mentioned failing fast. So a lot of times he's tough, so you go to him with questions, but don't be afraid to go and ask, because there's never a wrong question. So you'll get that, no matter how far you are in your career, you're always going to get that. Or don't be afraid to ask. So if you can go to the next page. So this is our leadership team. So you've got Andres, who was speaking here
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. He's our Chief Technology Officer and co-founder with myself. So he heads up all of our product development, which right now we're building different tools that allow people to upload data and get free reports and insight when they do upload that data. So he's heading all of those product development initiatives. You have Jill, who was actually our first hire. We hired a VP of HR. So people are the most important thing in our company. So we went out and invested, and we want someone that can go out and source talent, train talent, help them get ramped up before we even go to market with their company. We wanted to have the team ready to go so we can deliver a superior product. And then myself, which I mentioned before, I came from a digital marketing and analytics company previously. I built that division up and then handed it off to the owner there, decided to start my own business, and then I went over to the money man on the right, so that's Bill. So he's the guy that challenges me every day. So I present things, he says, no, that's wrong, go back to the drawing board. It's a constant back and forth, but again, the biggest thing is to constantly, don't be afraid to ask, because if you just sit back and wait, it doesn't help anyone. So ask questions, fail fast, and learn. So this is our vision. So we want to have our Wyzoo decision engine on the mobile phone and computer of every marketing employee and executive at every company.
Yep.
And our brand promise, Wyzoo your data for smarter marketing decisions. So think of Wyzoo like a verb, like you Google something. We want people to Wyzoo their data, meaning they take their customer data, which is usually like a list of customers in an Excel spreadsheet. They upload them to our system, and then they'll instantly get like insights on those customers and things that'll help them make smarter marketing decisions. So you're good.
Oh.
These are our core values and culture. So continuous personal development. We want to be unique and innovative. We want to be supportive, helpful, and appreciative. So everybody that works at our company, we want to make sure we're helping them. They're learning, they're getting educated, we're learning at the same time. Trust, respect, and commitment to peers and customers. We want to cultivate community, so both internally and externally. And then we also want to build part of the product that we're building is we want to build a marketing community where marketers can collaborate and share ideas. We want to be self-aware and considerate, so everybody at our company is being educated in their area of expertise, and we want them to be able to be aware of where they need to learn and where they need to develop. And then obviously we want to be considerate to everyone that's at the company. Transparency is huge for us, so a lot of companies in our space take all the data, they go into this black box, they run machine learning, and then they come out and here's what you get. We want to educate everybody on what machine learning is, how it's applied to you, show you behind the scenes, how the data is actually working, and basically pull all of that up front and be transparent about it. Empowering, so we want to empower all of our employees and customers. And a lot of that's done through the education and just helping and training. And then just positive energy and fun. So a lot of companies in our space are boring. So we don't want to be that boring company that's in our space. We want to go out there and make it fun and get people excited and entertained about data. So this is a lot of words, but this was our 2019 strategic focus areas. So the investor that I had mentioned previously, I had to put this together. He came in and we kind of reviewed everything we were going to focus on in 2019. So I'll just go high level. So we want to be the best place to work. We want to create a high performance culture. We call that metrics-driven management, personal priorities. So everybody's going to have their personal goals, and then we're going to have metrics that we can measure them against their individual goals. We always want to exceed customer expectations, so deliver faster, sooner than promised. Regular updates on progress on all the data and analytics projects we're working on. And then we want to deliver something unexpected of value that they weren't expecting. So a lot of times you deliver back a report or a database that they expected, but there's always things that you can go out there and do with some extra research to say, hey, did you know this little bit additional detail about your project or whatever the problem was that we were solving. Some of that is simple things like just giving them mobile access to reporting. So a lot of times they're using tools like Google Analytics or Tableau or a lot of the other technologies out there. And they all have mobile applications. So simple things like just showing them how to set up, download the app and then setting up your data report on their existing application. Those are the little things that can go a long way. Creative, innovative products. So our initial product is going to be free. So we'll be the only one in our industry that is offering those customer insight marketing intelligence reports at no cost. So we're eating the expense on all the product development and housing all of that data because that's going to be part of building our brand.
What value does that bring?
So the value it brings to the user is it's information that they can use to better target for an acquisition campaign or help better retain their existing customers. So we're going to give them, they're going to upload their customers, we're going to tell them all these things about their customers, and then we're also going to take that and match it to prospect files to teach them things about other customers that may look like their customers. So it'll give them a lot of information to make smarter decisions on who to target for their marketing campaigns. And then professional services, so that's where we make money today. So we have data engineers, data scientists. Jose just started as a solution advisor. So we have all of these skilled team members that we can augment the staff of companies. So like Amelia's company, she's doing so much work at the business analyst role. A lot of it's work that's outside of what a business analyst typically does. So she needs help with like data engineering projects to prepare the data. So we can bring in staff members that can augment what existing companies have in order to help them move projects along faster or get better results or have skills that they don't have on staff. And then architecting and providing our go-to-market and ongoing engagement methodology. So this is basically how we make money and then how we're going to continue to engage with our customers once we bring them on board. Can keep going.
Sure.
So you have all of those strategic objectives. Now you want to get down to how do we measure them. So the ones you see up top in blue, these are related to employee satisfaction and customer satisfaction. So we use a simple method. It's ENPS. It's Employee Net Promoter Score. So every employee that works for us, we're going to continue to send out basically an email that asks them to rank us from 1 to 10 on how effective we are and if they would refer other people to come to our company and become employees. So we want to continually send that information out and get feedback from our internal teams. And then also we'll have an open area where it's just a forum where they can tell us whatever's on their mind and what they're thinking. And then for customers, it's a similar methodology. Every week they're going to get a message that'll ask them to rank us from 1 to 10 basically. So a 9 and a 10 means we're exceeding all expectations and they want to refer us to other people they know to provide services. So we want to make sure that we're a 9 and 10 in all of those categories. So that's how we're going to measure how well we're treating employees, how happy employees are, and how well we're treating customers and how happy they are. The green are all items related to marketing, sales, and revenue. So all of our business currently has been through referrals. So we have a network. The leaders that started the company have a network of people that we already know that we can bring in and their existing customers. We're launching all of our online marketing initiatives the 15th. So we've been building our marketing strategy, developing all the targets for the campaigns, coming up with our brand promise. We have an agency that's working on that. So all of that's going to launch the 15th. And then our goals on the sales side is we want to have 15 professional service proposals delivered to qualified prospects. So once those leads start coming in, we're going to qualify them and make sure they're a good fit for our company. And then we are going to deliver them proposals. Our goal is to acquire 6 new customers. So these are new logos that we're not currently providing services to. And then we want 3 billable projects from existing clients. So we have clients that we work with already. We want to provide them additional services and products. So there's opportunity to help them a lot more. And then we want at least one of our existing clients to convert to a monthly recurring program. So we're putting together essentially ongoing analytics programs where they can have our people and our technology on a monthly basis. We'll provide reporting and show them results. And that's good for us because it's monthly recurring revenue, and it's good for them because we can continue to optimize and improve their marketing campaign results. We're building the Wyzoo decision engine platform. So once that's built, our goal is to have 25 subscribers through the end of, that's a wrong date, it was originally 131, but it should be 228, because there's not 31 days in February. So that needs to be updated. But our goal is to acquire 25 subscribers by the end of February. So we expect our average subscriber to pay $2,500 a month to have access to the paid version of our platform. A lot of those subscribers will be like data companies that have many clients. So that's a very low fee for somebody that's servicing so many clients and going to be getting all of this incremental value. And then at the bottom, those are our products that we're developing. So initially, those customer insight and analytic reports that are free, it's going to be, they're going to upload their data and they're going to instantly get a PDF. It's like a 50-page report. It tells them all of this information about their customers and about it benchmarks them against everybody else in their marketing territory, so they know which prospects to go after as well. And then that's going to convert to a dashboard. So in the dashboard, they'll be able to physically log in, and they'll be able to save like all their history. So users like Amelia, who like to do a lot of their own analytics work, can have a login, start doing analysis. It'll save all that information. They'll have a library to go back to and reference. And then the paid features we want to launch by the 30th. Okay, keep going. So this is how we make money today. So through professional services. So we have very skilled people that have these titles. So basically we deploy our smart people to help clients make smarter marketing decisions. And most of that work starts with, first step with every client is they give us their data. We refer to that as first-party data. So they'll give us like their customer lists or who they've been targeting in their marketing campaigns. And then we'll take that data, we go out and enhance it, and then allow them to get even more value out of that customer data that they already had. Okay. How we will get users and grow our Wyzoo brand. So this is getting updated, but this is a screenshot of what's at the top of our website. So I mentioned people are going to be able to take their customer files, they're just going to drag it, upload it, and then they're instantly going to get this report that's going to give them all this free information about their customers and prospects they should be targeting. And they'll be available in January. And again, we'll be the only company in our space that's giving away all of this information at no cost. Okay. So we've already been designing these. We've got product developers that are laying out the design of all of these reports. And then we have back-end developers that are taking all the data that needs to be connected in order to produce these reports. So all of that's happening now. We're paying these companies to basically build all of these products for us. So this just highlights the things that they're going to get with the free version. So customer insight. We're going to give them a data quality. We call it data quality insight. So a lot of times people will upload data and it's missing fields or it's not standardized or there's so many potential data issues. They're going to get a free report that's going to show them all those issues and what they need to fix in their data. Part of that too is a lot of this will lead to they're going to need like our professional services team to help them. So it's kind of a free tool to give them the information, and then if they need additional help, we have team members that can solve all of those data problems for them. They'll get a market penetration report, so it's going to show them how deep they are into their target market and where they could be going after additional customers within the market they serve. And then we're going to give them free direct mail and online audience recommendations. So we're going to look at their customer data, we're going to identify prospects, and then we're going to give them back that information so they'll know like who to target with their direct mail campaigns, who to target with their Facebook ads, who to target with their Google Display Network ads. So that's the free version. So this is the features that will be phased in as part of the paid version. So we're going to have machine learning powered audience selection. So this is going to take that just matching and building lookalike audiences to the next level. So what happens here is we run their data through basically a machine, and the machine will pick out all of the attributes that matter on that individual. So a person can only think through like a few variables. So they're going to look at our average customer is this age, they have this income, they have these interests. The machine will look at the 500 different variables that are available, and it'll identify patterns that are smarter than just going out and picking your standard like profile and finding new customers to target. So that's going to be part of the paid version. That'll be the monthly subscription. They're going to get marketing benchmark knowledge, so they're going to know how they compare to other marketers in their space. So they'll get information on how campaign results are versus other marketers that are running similar campaigns. And then the free version we're going to make available to all of the other like resellers, so like data companies, there's like creative agencies, anybody that would want to private label or take our technology and put it on their website. So we're going to make that available to them to use under their brand with their logo, et cetera, et cetera. And then the next piece is we're creating an online marketplace. So right now there's this site called Nextmark. So if you go there, there's like 63,000 lists that are available for rental on that site. So what happens now is people go out and they go through all of these lists and they put together a plan on who they're going to target for their marketing campaigns. But it's so much work to go through all of those lists and know which ones are valuable. So we're going to partner with these companies that are putting all this information, upload it to our platform, and then we'll be able to enhance all of those lists and tell them which names they should extract from all of those 63,000 lists that are on the market. So this will be a way for the data companies to increase their revenue. Because right now they want people to find their list in that pile of 63,000 lists because they rent out those names to other marketers. So we're going to take it, expose it, make their data more visual, and then allow machine learning to better pick names from the list that they have available. Then the next piece is we want to connect it to, Amelia talked about marketing automation platforms. So once all of these audiences are identified, we want to pass the data to the marketing platform where they can then deploy campaigns. So if we select the right audience, it needs to pass to a marketing automation platform, and then they send out the messages, whether that's an email, Facebook ads, Google ads, or direct mail pieces. So the data passes through and gets passed and deployed to customers. And then the last piece, or this next to last piece, is the decision management. So in an organization, there's all of these decisions that are being made in the marketing department, from which marketing automation tool you're going to be selecting down to the granular who I'm going to be targeting for campaigns. All of those decisions are typically made by individuals, and none of it's documented, or it's tribal knowledge just to the person that's working on it. So part of our service is we're going to go in and help create those checklists and start documenting all those decisions, save all of that data, and then it allows for more transparency across the organization. So a CEO or a company owner can go in and see all the different decisions that are being made, and then see what impact it's having on the ROI of their marketing efforts. So from the technology they're selecting down to who they're targeting for campaigns. So think of that as just a platform a company owner could go in and just see full transparency on what's happening across all their marketing operations and where they're making money and where they need to improve. And then the final piece is we want to make it collaborative for marketers. So allow them to go in and start sharing information on what's been effective for them. We want to make that fun and come up with some sort of contest, kind of gamify it, so they can compete against other marketers and just that already happens in like the developer space. So they're like open, they share code and all kind of information. Marketers don't do that yet, so we want to take them through this path, get them interested, and then have them start opening up and sharing. What happens now is all this information gets shared, but they don't collaborate on it. So it goes into a black box, and then somebody tells them who they should be targeting. We want to open it up and allow the community to help each other be more effective, basically. So these are just some of the initial designs on the platform that we're building. So again, we have product developers that are out there designing the the UX and the UI. So these, you can go through this, but these are just some initial concepts they sent. So back to the skills people needed. So these are our 4 competency areas. So each one of these areas we're hiring roles for, and we want the people in those roles to become experts in one of these 5 areas. So for example, Jose started just recently. His goal is to become our expert in number 4, which is the BI and data visualization. So he's going out there and learning Tableau, Google Data Studio, all the different tools and technologies that are out there to allow us to export all of this data and make it more visual so people can see results of campaigns. So that's his area that he's going out and getting educated on. You know, we're giving him the guidance on which tools to look at. A lot of it's self-learning, so he'll sign up for training and certifications and kind of become the expert in that. So the other areas are the data ingestion and integration. So that for that role, you really have to know the data well. So there's so many potential issues in data that get overlooked. So you have to know how to find those discrepancies in data and then be able to take multiple data sources and combine them and match them. So we use a tool called Alteryx. That's a technology that we use for data blending. So the person in that role has to become certified in Alteryx and then really just understand how to integrate data. The second, we just hired someone, a solution advisor for the second role. So I talked about those 63,000 lists that are out there. This person is going to become an expert in which ones are valuable and where to extract data from those different lists. And they're also going to develop partnerships with all of these list owners and managers. So get them to bring their data on our platform. And they'll also look at which data should be used to help improve marketing campaigns. So clients give us their first party data. They're going to go out there and find all this other available data that's out there, bring it back and use it to enhance what the customer is giving us.
What are the different types of data sources that Jose or someone in my role would encounter?
So they roll up into 2 categories. One's called compiled. So there's companies out there like Axiom, Equifax, Experian, all of these large national compilers. They basically have a database of every household and person in the entire US. And then they have like 300 to 500 variables on each one of those people. So that's a compiled source. And they spend a lot of money to just continually update and make sure those databases are accurate. So that's one type of database. The other are managed lists. Managed lists are those 63,000 lists that we're mentioning. There's companies that, like if you're a big cataloger, you'll put your name, you'll make your customer names available for rental from other organizations so they can target, because they know they respond well to catalogs. So other catalogs will rent those names out and they get fees for doing that. So it's becoming an expert in those managed lists, which are all of the smaller lists that are out there. And typically the managed lists you get higher response rates because those are like buyer data. So it's important to have both the compiled sources and all of those managed sources that are out there. And then the third is the data science decision management expertise. So the data scientists are the individuals that are going to not just understand the business problems and what they're trying to solve, but they also understand the technology and how they're going to use a combination of data and algorithms and technology to solve those business problems. So they're kind of like a unique skill set. It's a person that not only knows how to solve business problems, but can perform advanced analytics and is very familiar with working with machines to solve those business problems. And then decision management is something that's been out there, but not specific to marketing. So we want to bring that to the marketing world. A lot of times it's used in healthcare and financial banking. And that again goes back to that understanding all those decisions that are made across your organization and cataloging all of that data. We're going to bring that to the marketing world. And then fourth, I mentioned those are the BI tools, and then the last piece is the expert in activation. So it's connecting all of these audiences to the marketing automation platforms. The DMPs those are data management platforms. Those are where you can upload data, like let's say a postal data. You can upload it, and then it'll onboard it to an online display network where they can then serve ads to those individuals. And those are the DSPs. And then any agency partner. So a lot of times we work with like direct marketing agencies, so they may need to send audiences right off to a printer, so they get a direct mail piece right away. These are the list of basically targets, so clients that we serve. So any B2C direct mail marketer that mails like 500,000 plus direct mail pieces a year. So we like to set it at the $500,000 plus because the fees for our services, if you're mailing that large of a volume, it's very expensive. So they can absorb our fees and we can still show a great ROI if they're mailing that volume of data. For example, if we show data that tells them they need to cut their mail quantity by 20% because 20% of the people aren't responding to your campaigns at all, that's a big savings for them. Direct mail is very expensive. And then the second is users of direct marketing focused ETL and data visualization tools. So Alteryx, I mentioned, is our data blending tool. They have all of these users that use Alteryx. They're target customers for us because we can help them get more value out of that software investment. And then Tableau is a data visualization tool. So again, we can bring value to them by enabling them to get more value out of that technology they're already investing in. So we have people that can come in and help them create better reports, provide better ETL work. A lot of these are marketed as self-serve tools, and then people subscribe and they're like, it's so much here, I'm overwhelmed, I'm never going to use it. So they just sit on the shelf. So we can come in and help them get the value out of those technologies. And then list managers, those are, I mentioned all those lists that are out there. Typically they all roll up to what they call a list manager. So there's like list management companies that'll manage like 50 to 100 different customer files across all of these different organizations. So we want to target those list managers because we can help them with a lot of the data work, and then we can also bring them onto our platform. And then list brokers, they're the people and companies out there that they're basically renting out each other's names, and then the company owner gets a revenue share on that. And then any B2C business that has at least 500 previous responders. So the reason we want somebody that has at least 500 previous responders or customers is we need a certain level of data in order to train the models and enable us to find prospects or other customers that look like them. If they only have 50 customers, it's not a large enough data set for us to train the models, and it won't be an effective model for them. So the more data they have,
The better.
it's the more model training data that we can use to help them find customers.
Okay.
This is a little creepy, but so as part of our product development, we went through and we looked at who our users would be. So we want to get in the mind of how they would use our tools, how they would use this platform. So as part of the development, we're going through each user is going to have a different experience when they log into our platform. So this is Cindy. I know her. She's been in the industry for a while. She's a list manager. So she's one of the ladies that has those 50 to 100 lists. She goes out and promotes them for those users, markets them, helps rent those names. So I know for her, what she wants to do is make more revenue off those list names. So for her, we need the platform to show her, to enhance the data that she's uploading and show her how she's going to make more money when she is using our platform. Keep going. This is another target user. So this is Gina. She puts together all of the budgets for big catalogers. So they might mail 20 million catalogs a year. Catalogs could cost $2 each. So that could be $40 million that they're investing in catalogs a year. She'll go out and pull together all of those list plans. So she'll go through all those 63,000 lists. She'll find the ones that they should be mailing. And then she'll put together a projection on what their customer response, what the response rate will be and how much dollars they're going to earn with that $40 million budget. So for her, we want to help her like automate a lot of this. We want her to put the information on the platform. We can use machine learning to save her the time of going through those 63,000 lists and figuring out which names to pick. So it'll just basically allow her to scale her business. I met with her. She's like, I was up at 3 a.m. last night putting together these budgets, and she can't keep up with all the business, and she needs a way to scale. So that would be the benefit to her. And then this is another company that we work with. They're in that compiled data space. So they know all the compiled databases, and they basically broker that data to all the businesses. So Bree is the CEO, and if we know her care-abouts, or she just wants to beat the competition. She's the CEO of the company. She wants to look like the smartest and coolest person in the room. So for her, we have to build in features that are going to enable her to get information out of there that she can just quickly send to people and see high level what's the ROI I'm getting. And I have this technology on my website, private label, that we're the best in the business. So she's more ego-driven. Waylon, someone else I met, so he runs all of the catalog and direct mail for Athleta. And again, he's kind of he puts together those budgets, so he would be similar to the other lady that I had mentioned, where he needs the help with automating a lot of things and just using smart people and machines to help them better select audiences. So again, he's got too many responsibilities, and he needs to be able to cycle through data faster and get lists faster and get better results. A lot of manual work. This is another user, Tom. So Tom's the director of marketing analytics, and he likes to do all of the analytics work himself. So for him, we need to make it so all of the history is saved when he logs in. He can upload multiple lists and just save all of his work that he's doing on his own. So the tool's more of just, you upload your data, it's self-serve. You can use parts of it that you want, but a lot of it's just him doing his own analysis. So we have to build in features that allow him to do that and catalog all of the work that he's done.
Can I just touch on
Who's this person?
So we talked, so in my presentation, we talked about kind of mentorship and internships, and Tom, he gave me like my start at analytics. I was in a class, in the ISM class with Dr. Cunningham. I don't know how many of you know him. And he came in, and I like walked right up to me, and I was like, this is my resume. I'm perfect for an internship. You should give me this job. And that started my entire career. I did an internship for his company for 3 months. I got hired on full time. 9 months later, I was at Nextera. And so don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Be the best version of yourself. He is to this day, I said I still have a mentor. He is to this day who I call if I have a problem. So, go ahead.
So another target user, Amelia. So she's got too wide of scope of work and not enough time in the day. So all of these responsibilities that are outside of whatever business analyst role technically is supposed to do. So again, for her, we need to give self-serve tools that are going to allow her to automate and do a lot of the analysis on our own, but automate a lot of the things that take a lot of time. You can keep going.
Okay.
So that was kind of all the information that I had to present to our investor, like how we're going to make money, how we make money today, how we're going to make money in the future. Now I'm just going to go through kind of here's how we present our services to a potential new client. So typically we'll always start with, what are their goals? So we'll kind of go through the client's goals. What are they hoping to achieve? And then we look at how to achieve you and your client's goals. I say you and your clients because a lot of times the resellers or agencies that serve many clients. And then the last is we just want to make sure that they can get started. It's easy for them, affordable, and they get predictable pricing. A lot of the other companies out there charge like different pricing based on volume, et cetera, so they can't budget effectively. Keep going.
Okay.
I just talk through those. So how to achieve your goals. So the first is obviously we can bring in the smart people. So you can who leverage data. We leverage data, smart people, and machines to improve your ROI. So a lot of these roles are roles within a company that are hard to fill. So every company's out there trying to hire as many data scientists as they can, and they're having a difficult time finding them, and they don't really know how to train them. So they hire them, and they don't really know what a data scientist is supposed to do. So they have them doing all of these other roles, and they don't really know what they need. So our job is to go out and train them the right way, and then have that staff available to help them fill the gaps within their current staff. So again, this kind of walks through how to achieve your goals, but part of it is that business rule process creation, which we call decision management. So we have experts that'll come in and help them map out all of those decisions and then save all and catalog all of that underlying data. And then we bring in their ongoing first-party campaign response data, and then we aggregate it with third-party data, meaning all of their existing customers and campaigns that they deploy. We take all of that information back. We have all the analysis on those individuals. We then go out to those third-party sources, which are those compiled databases and managed lists. We append information from those sources onto their customer database. What that does, it just builds a wider profile on each person. So it allows you to gain more information about each individual. And then that's where you can utilize the power of machines to look at all of those variables that matter on that wider profile of an individual. And that's what leads to finding more responsive audiences. So we can show them the financial impact and give them predictions on if you're targeting these names, here's the revenue and response rate you're going to get. So once we keep getting more and more data, we get smarter and smarter with those predictions, and it saves them a lot of money or allows them to find new customers and expand their programs. And that's the better forecast response rates and financials with more precise audience selection. And then we want this to just be an ongoing program. So when they're running campaigns, they get data back, we take it in, we append it, we report back results. So they're constantly just getting information back. We're getting smarter about who they're targeting, and the results just continue to get better. Keep going. This is Alteryx, the tool that I mentioned. That's a data blending tool. So all of our team members are certified on this tool, and then a lot of other clients that have this tool, we can help them get more value out of it. So some of the things this does is it just allows you to cycle through data fast. Like in this workflow, we went through 6 million records in 16 seconds. So think of this as someone trying to do all of this work in like an Excel spreadsheet. So you can take this data and you can save the workflows. So when you get new data and you cycle it through and it outputs it. So you don't have to do all of that manual matching like you're doing in Excel. And it saves it and just becomes more efficient and saves everybody a lot of time. This again shows efficiency gains. So these are typically before. So you have, we use Alteryx and Tableau, and we recommend it for a lot of our clients. But typically what will happen is they'll have input from a data source. So if you see the before on the right, so only FTP receipts, so they're only able to receive data from an individual source, and then to the right there, we can take data from all of these different sources. So the tool allows you to accept data in many different formats and from many different areas, so they can widen the way they're able to accept and ingest data. And then on the left, they typically will work with all of these type of tools. So they have all these different analytics engine tools. So managing all of the work between all of these tools is very time consuming. And we could basically build the same workflows just using that one tool. So it just makes it really efficient for them. And then last is the analytic reports. So most clients are getting just your standard like Excel or PDF. So the analytic outputs are just much greater, so you get the data visualization. You can still get your Excel and PDF if you want it, but you can also get it in Tableau in a much more visual way. I won't go through all of this, but basically what we did here was, because of these efficiencies, every campaign that was deployed, we cut the time spent on it from 17.5 hours down to 3.25 hours. So multiply this, across thousands of campaigns that happen across all these clients, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars that becoming more efficient can save them, even with our fees built in there. And this just kind of shows the whole process. So I talked about, this is their first party data, so they get all of their direct marketing response data, and that's all of their customer data that they already have on file. We take that, we append it to those third-party data sources. So we're making a wider profile on each person in their database, and then we integrate it into one single source. So you have more information on that person. And then that's where we use the machine learning to help them better target existing customers and find new customers. And then once you get there, we're able to give them basically financial forecasts on, if you're targeting these people, here's the impact that's going to have in dollars. And then it continues to be cyclical. So it's an ongoing thing. So every campaign, we're capturing more data, you're getting smarter, and the results just keep improving. And these are just some samples of reports. You can go through these. So just the sample outputs that they would get. These are the reports that we're building. Again, this is a Tableau report, so you get that more visual report. This is a Venn diagram where we took a customer's data and wanted to see the overlap between who responded on the phone, who responded with a direct mail campaign, and who responded on the web, and then who responded through all of those channels. So we wanted to better understand what was causing their customers to respond. Keep going. And then the last is that we will connect in any environment. So a lot of companies are stuck on the technologies they're using. They've already invested $200,000. We're going to use them for the next 3 years. So all of our team members are technology agnostic, so we can go and help them maximize the value of whatever technology they're using. So we're not
technology agnostic.
So we're unbiased. We're able to work on any technology that somebody's using. And then the last is just getting started with the ease and peace of mind. So easy to understand pricing. So, and a lot of the stuff we do at no charge. So we'll assess your campaign response history at no charge. So clients will give us their data. We'll look at what we can give them a report that shows here's the financials on a campaign that you've run. So we'll look at what their current state is at no cost to them, and then only propose services when we know we can improve results. We'll do a free assessment of their response data to determine if it's in a usable format. So I know like Amelia is working with a lot of data for MBLES, and she's trying to get all the data she needs in order to understand if the campaigns are really effective. So we can help her go in and organize that data in a way that she'll get the insight that she needs out of it. So we'll go in and look at that data and assess what needs to be done to give her the insight she needs. And then we can provide free ROI forecasts on future campaigns. So if we have enough historical response data. We can give you like projections. If you apply our models, here's the result. Here's the financial impact it's going to have on your next campaign. And then if we find efficiency gains, we'll pass the savings on to the client. So we'll reduce their fees. So as we become smarter and more efficient, we'll lower the rates that we're charging them. So we pass that savings, and then we're setting everything up in a flat monthly fee pricing model. So all of our competitors typically charge volume-based. So the more you mail, the more you pay, or the more data you buy, the more you pay. We're just going to charge a flat rate. Here's a fee. You can mail as much as you want if it's the right thing to do. You're not going to pay more fees to us. And then this is just a quick overview. So Wyzoo, we have a location in New York. We just opened one in Fort Lauderdale. And a lot of the data scientists and data engineers are in Odessa, Ukraine. So that allows us to have low-cost resources, very high-skilled people that work for our clients. Yeah. That's it. Any questions for me? I know it's a lot of information. Amelia told me it was too many words.
Based on your business model, how do you guys project yourselves with the competition based on like your pricing? Because I'm pretty sure that you have competitors who are pricing that much more than you, which you've mentioned that they do it by how many mailings go. Where do you guys see yourselves, I guess, I don't know, in the next 5 years with other marketing analytics companies that are doing the same thing?
So where do we see ourselves as far as how we're going to price our services?
Yeah, and where do you see like in the whole spectrum of the industry, leading, mid-tier, where?
Leading, so
okay.
No one else charges the way we're going to be charging and provides the level of analytics services that we're providing. So we want to be the leader, we want to make it flat rate, and we know that we can automate and optimize a lot of the things that are happening. So we're going to be able to do it by automating a lot of it. For everybody else is charging a lot so they can keep doing things in a manual way. So our goal is to automate and remove those barriers and allow us to keep pricing low.
Okay.
Well, and also they're developing a platform that doesn't exist yet.
Right.
So that
yeah.
So that's kind of like, there are a lot of people that say they do those things, but they don't really do those things. Not to like stick it under here, but that's basically like what they're developing. The company that's developing is just isn't heard of. It just doesn't exist.
Okay.
So they have that competitive advantage like across the board, like at least right now, and then from that point you would just develop ways to do that better.
Yeah, and we've been in the space a while, all of the leaders at our company, so we know like all the black box behind the scenes things that happen. That's why we want to make everything transparent and show people that we actually are using machine learning to solve problems. It's not just a buzzword we're putting in our marketing campaigns.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing because especially with a few companies, I wouldn't say a few, but quite a bit of companies out there, they're saying they're looking for business analysts, analytics people, but when you look at the job description or when you speak to them, it's like literally, they want somebody to play with a database and to draw stuff out. So you're technically not doing analytics, but you guys are actually doing it in a marketing perspective, so which is fantastic. Which this leads into my question. So the development of your employees, from hiring till they're there for a few months, half a year to a year, etc. You guys have data scientists in Odessa. Do those guys come down here and help you guys develop those newer employees who are doing the visualizations, the making algorithms, models, etc.? Or do you have somebody here doing that?
No, so most of our work's done through, we use Google Hangouts or any video conferencing. So Jose works through a virtual machine. He's on calls every morning with the Odessa team on video calls. But as we grow, we will start bringing team members here and we'll start growing there as well. So we're going to do more face-to-face as the company grows. Right now, Yeah, so look forward to Odessa, Ukraine.
It's not really a question. Well, I guess at the end. But I think it's kind of cool. I like your business model with turning like tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge. And because I think with like companies with high turnover, like they kind of lose the culture. So having a company that develops that for them, I think that's really cool. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with IBM's My Developer. Is that where you got that hub idea to have like collaboration, but for marketing?
No. I'm not
Yeah,
really-
they do it for like developers,
Yeah.
so global, and I think that's so cool that you're bringing it to marketing, so that's another
Thank you.
thing that's pretty cool. And once you're like developed and, really big, because I think it's a great idea, do you plan on like going public, or are you just gonna stay private? Like, how do
Ooh,
you
nice
plan on doing
questions.
that? Like, are you gonna use financial leveraging, or just have your shareholder that equity, how to split it?
It's gonna be private for a while, but yeah, there's no reason we wouldn't go public.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
transparency is
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
it's a cool concept.
I have a question. Users.
Maggie?
I will ask you questions.
I'm going in the order I saw.
You did mention the Ukraine location, but in terms of the next 5 to 10 years, do you plan on expanding global to any more countries?
We do, yeah. Yeah, we're looking at Latvia, Bulgaria, so there's other areas that we're considering. Yeah. At the end of the day, I expect to have teams internationally in several areas, because each area has different skill sets and training programs, and I think we'll benefit if we have a team that's more global.
Did you choose Odessa because they were leading in like data scientists and different things like that, or what made you choose that?
So our investor is on the board at a company called Saucer. They have 5,000 Ukrainian employees. So he has experience in training and educating and bringing on Ukrainian team members. They're like $1 billion software company now. So he has the expertise and recommended that market. So that's why we went there.
Do you guys go with the shareholders equity? Did you go half and half, or did he fund most of it and then like kept the piece?
So Andres and I we own almost the whole company. He's basically providing a loan where he takes like equity based on how much we borrow from the loan. It's Andres's brother.
Yeah.
So we got a real good deal on our equity line.
He was an investor at Faraday.
Yeah, and I've known him for a while, so he's like
Nine.
trusted. He's bought and sold multiple companies, very successful. So now he has
Does he like
That's
startups? Like that's his thing?
Yeah, so now he's like investing in basically machine learning AI companies, and he's very hands-on too. I mean, he's been like pretty much like a full-time employee for me, which has been great.
So he's passionate about it.
Yeah, so he's excited.
So machine learning is the new thing, or has it been there but not utilized as much? Or?
Been there, but I think people just throw the term out. No one's really like, everybody that says they're using machine learning really isn't using machine learning, and they're not like explaining how they're using it. So that's part of what we're actually putting together content where we're going to literally like walk someone through. Here's how a data scientist works with a machine. So like makes it transparent because it's confusing, and so we're going to do educational type content that explains that.
So as Wyzoo grows in the next, 6 months to a year, since we're here kind of at Nova, are you looking for next summer sort of like interns that can come in and kind of like learn from either Jose or Andres or your Odessa team, so that, you can develop them and then sort of like leverage your relationship with the schools in the area?
Absolutely. Yes. Good question.
Since we're talking about like internships next year.
Yeah, I think, development of your employees are a key thing in any business, especially, with analytics being this big thing in the business world now. A lot of people still don't get it. I mean, based on the people who are here, it's literally like a niche thing now until it gets even more widespread. So I think that development of the employees within that spectrum of skill sets is very important. Especially for your company or for these people as well, because at the end of the day, man, like if a company is going to be successful, you have to treat people well. You have to train people, allow them to be in an environment where they have no fear to ask questions. As you both mentioned, you have to ask questions, you have to learn. It's a very key, important thing. And I'm happy that you guys are here, to be honest. I was trying to get not trying, but thinking about getting Amelia to come here, and then it's kind of funny how everything kind of connected, because I was talking to her to get her here, and then you had sent me an email. I was like, Wyzoo, who is this? Who's Jill? Who is, so then when Amelia mentioned, oh, Judah, and I'm like, wait, Judah. I think he was on the LinkedIn thing, I didn't connect him yet, I was like, wow, this is crazy what's happening right now, so I think this is a very good thing that we're, having here, with this institution and with the people who are here, possibly can get opportunities. It's fantastic. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys being here for real.
And I think, what you're saying about the development of employees, like I know that Judah focuses on that a lot, because, we talk about them a lot, but that like I work for a giant company with 15,000 employees, and I can at any point walk into my VP's office and say, hey Troy, I need you to sign. It's like walk right by the secretary, just, like open door policy. We do charity events. We for Halloween, all the directors dressed up in costumes, he gave us candy, So it's amazing. Like, we have mentorship programs and networking programs. Like if you're part of the networking program, you have to meet with 50 people across the company. I've taken 3 leadership courses this year, all paid for by my boss, speech analytics training, 3 conferences. I could just go on, like, about all the different opportunities. Project management, when I started to get into, like, the business analyst role, I was like, I really need this to help, like, work through my projects a little bit better and how to manage all the different tasks that I'm in charge of. And anything that I've ever asked to do, I've been allowed to do. Whether it's $100, whether it's, I did a finance class that was like $5,000. It was 2 days, and she was like, okay, great. Have a great time. People constantly developing you, and I had a conversation I was telling Judah today with my vice president where I was so excited about coming here. I was like, hey, I'm doing this, and he's like, that's so great. He's like, hey, put some time on my calendar next week, and we'll sit down and talk about like what the next stage of your career is. And so I think it's not just like a great thing to have, like with the new like millennials kind of like rolling into the workforce, it's absolutely necessary. And so, when you're interviewing at a company, go into a culture like, they're interviewing you, but you're interviewing them. And so roll in to be exactly who you are. And if you fit, you fit. If you don't want to work there anyway. So that's just a couple more tips.
Yeah, Jose went to Austin his first week on the job for the product development. Second day, so we brought him right to where we're investing all the money in the product development side.
Second day.
And also work somewhere where, you're constantly challenged. Like you talked about how I'm always being asked to do things I don't know how to do. I have been I went from FPL to FPL Energy Services 4 months ago. I have learned like an insane amount in 4 months. And just like, hey, can you do this? And I'm like, okay, and be the person that figures it out. So, any other questions? No? Well, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I don't know how to stop this. Hang up.